Hello everyone, it's Carmony from Long Game Health here. Welcome back to another week on the channel. Now this is probably the third video I have made on CoQ10 now, and there isn't much left for me to say on this topic, but what we do need to go through is how to make sure you're getting the best CoQ10 supplement for yourself if that is something you have decided to go with. The supplement industry is gigantic at this point. It's worth about $150 billion. So regardless of what supplement you're looking for, you can be sure that when you go to the store, there's going to be way too many options, and decision fatigue is a real thing. So CoQ10 is no different. There are lots of different brands that have a CoQ10 supplement, and so today I'm going to try and make this decision as simple as I can for you, because when it comes to supplements, you need to keep it as simple as possible. So I'll go through what your dose options are, the different forms of CoQ10 you might run into, and how to make sure you pick the right brand. So let's get into it. Now by now, hopefully you've seen my other videos on coenzyme Q10, but click here if you haven't to catch up on them. But as a quick summary, CoQ10 is a natural compound that's made in the body, and it's important for two main things. One is energy production. It's heavily involved in the way that your body makes ATP, which is the energy currency in the body. And two, it's a powerful antioxidant, which means it protects your cells from damage caused by free radicals, which can lead to aging. And this has already been found to be responsible for the development of some chronic diseases. So because of these two important roles that it has, supplementation of CoQ10 has been found to be quite beneficial for people with low energy levels, and it's also good for heart health, especially if you are taking a statin medication for your cholesterol levels. Again, I've done videos going into all of this stuff, so I'm just mentioning it briefly now. Now, as I said before, CoQ10 is something that is made naturally in your body, and like all things that get made naturally, as you age, the production will slow down. And this makes sense because obviously you won't be as efficient as you get older. But what I wasn't ready for was finding out how young this process actually starts to happen when it comes to coenzyme Q10. It's 20. Your body starts reducing the amount of CoQ10 that it makes after the age of 20 years old. And I only found this out when I was doing research to make this video, and it made so much sense because I have been chasing the energy levels I have had when I was 20 to 23 years old for what seems like forever. And now I feel like I know part of the reason why. But that's just to let you know that from 20 years old, those levels of CoQ10 start to drop, and it's a slow decline that obviously can become more apparent the older you get, which is shown in this little graph here. So first things first, when you go looking for a CoQ10 supplement, you will run into a couple of different dose options. And when I looked around at the research, there are a few different ranges depending on what you actually need to use it for. So for general health and energy boosts, I've seen 100 milligram a day doses being recommended. For heart health, I've seen the range of 100 to 200 milligrams, but also higher doses have been recommended by specialists on an individual basis. But that is of course being monitored by the specialist, so don't go higher unless it is recommended to you. But all of these dose ranges don't really mean much if you can't find products that match up. And here in Australia, I've only really seen 150 milligram or 300 milligram products available. For most people, the 150 milligram once a day dose should be enough for energy needs and even heart health, unless your doctor wants you to go higher. Now, as I mentioned before, as you age, you make less CoQ10. So that 300 milligram dose may be more suitable for older adults who need more of a boost, like those in their 50s, 60s, and above. But I always say, start low if you can, and then just see how you go. Now, the other thing that you may notice when looking at the labels on these supplements is that there are a couple of different forms of CoQ10, and this is an important thing to discuss. There are two main forms of CoQ10. We have ubiquinone and ubiquinol. Now, ubiquinone is known as the oxidized form of CoQ10 and is technically the inactive form of CoQ10. This form is more stable, and because of that, it was actually the form that most supplements had to use when making their products because the other form was just too difficult to deal with. It's only recently that we have seen the other form appear in supplements. So what is this other form? Well, it's ubiquinol. This is the reduced and active form of CoQ10. Because it's in the active form already, it's more readily available for your body to use directly, for example, as an antioxidant. Now, ubiquinone needs to actually be converted to ubiquinol before being used in the body. Now, here's the thing. I don't believe there is one form that is more important than the other, because both are actually very important for use in the body. If you remember my other video on CoQ10, you'll remember that it's needed to make ATP in the body, and I explained that it plays a part in what is called the electron transport chain, where electrons get passed along certain complexes to create the conditions to make ATP, or energy. Well, ubiquinone, which is the inactive form, is needed here, and it gains electrons to become ubiquinol, the active form. So this conversion of ubiquinone to ubiquinol is essential in itself for your body to actually make energy. So your body is constantly converting CoQ10 regardless of the form in which you take it as a supplement. The inactive form is important for energy production, and the active form is where the antioxidant effect comes in. But really, if you break it down, it's the fact that CoQ10 can go between these two states that allows it to have energy producing and antioxidant abilities. Now, I know that's a bit complicated, but what I'm trying to say is don't stress too much about the form in the supplement. Your body will figure it out. But there is a little bit of an exception here, because your ability to actually convert one to the other is affected by your age and also health state. So as you get older, you won't be able to convert ubiquinone to ubiquinol as efficiently. And some studies have suggested that this happens as early as 30 years old, but the 40s is where it seems this slowdown definitely happens. So from then, it's usually recommended that when looking at supplements, getting one with the ubiquinol form is going to be more beneficial. It will say on the label which form is being used, like so. One thing a lot of people want to know about when it comes to supplements is bioavailability, which is all about how well something is actually absorbed by your body and how easy your body is able to use it, because there's no point in taking a supplement if your body can't use it when you consume it. And when it comes to CoQ10 supplements, this is kind of all over the place. Many people say that the active form of CoQ10, ubiquinol, is better absorbed, but this usually just comes back to how old someone is. If you are 40 and over, then yes, the ubiquinol is easier for your body to use. But in terms of absorption, there is a lot of variation between individuals, so you will absorb it different compared to the person sitting next to you, for example. But there are some things that can help improve the absorption of CoQ10. One is taking it with a meal that includes fats. Why? Because CoQ10 is fat soluble, so it can hitch a ride with fat absorption in the body. And this is why many supplement products are soft gel capsules, which may include some oil inside them as well to boost absorption. Now, another thing is vitamin E. You may see some CoQ10 supplements also contain vitamin E alongside with it, and this is sometimes listed on the label as alpha tocopherol, and it's included because it can improve how much CoQ10 is absorbed from the supplement. And that's because vitamin E is also fat soluble, and they are absorbed into the body using similar paths, so they can essentially get a ride with each other. So there you go, some ways to make sure you are getting the most out of a supplement. Now, the last thing that I will touch on is brand. It's a little easier being here in Australia because we have something called the Therapeutic Goods Administration, and they're a body which pretty much evaluates products for quality, safety, and efficacy. So what you need to do is see if the supplement you're after has something called an OST-R identification number, which will be displayed on the label, and if it does, you can be sure it's one of the better brands. Now, I'm not really sure how it works in other countries, but my rule with supplements is the less ingredients, the better, and if in doubt, ask your healthcare professional, especially if you already have existing health issues, because you don't want to mess with your health. And that's pretty much all I have to say about CoQ10 supplements. I hope that that was helpful in some way, and if you have any questions, please just comment below. I'll do my best to help out. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you learned something or you just enjoyed the video. I put out a new video every Friday to help you get more educated about health in some way. So with that being said, I will see you next week, and until then, keep playing the long game.